solve a mystery or get prepped for a fight. Your favorite handful of die-hard dice tonight. Against those high DCs, a 20 would be nice. Please no one's die-hard dice. Need a crit, you gotta roll with die-hard dice. Let's get dangerous. Die-hard dice. Die-hard dice. Rolling scrolls and misshaped spheres, it's so hard to decide. So many colors and designs the Die Hard can provide. Which ones should I procure? So give me some advice. You need some Die Hard dice. Oh well, we suggest you roll with the best. Die Hard dice. Let's get dangerous. Die Hard dice. Don't be dice jail for these bad boys. Die Hard dice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dead Men Tell No Tales, a Ghost of Saltmarsh story. I am Tessa. I am your DM for this adventure, and joining me are my amazing players. We will go ahead and we will start with Crackers. Would you please introduce yourself and tell the people where they can find you and your amazing companion, Matthew, please?
Good evening, one and all. I am Crackers. I portray Crackers, the awakened parrot bard on this program. With me, as always, I have my assistant who handles my dice rolls and other such sundry business. His name is Matthew. You can find him on Twitter at Matthew A. Siebert, and you can also find him as the Dungeon Master of the Land Above podcast.
Excellent. And down to Fortune.
Hello, I'm Jay, Tiefling Fortune, Tiefling Monk. You can find me on Twitter at JAYYTXC. I do art sometimes, I do sewing sometimes, and I do commissions sometimes.
And Gwilyn.
Hello, I'm Autumn. I play Gwilyn Hayes, the Sea Elf Fighter, and I'm an artist, author. I do commission work, all kinds of stuff. You can find more info on my Twitter, Lasalanta Plays.
And Jeffer.
Hello, I'm Zach. I play Jaffer Zanzib, the gnome artificer. You can find me on Twitter at DuskFey Druid. You can also find me on the Nerdsmith Discord, where I run one-shots occasionally.
Excellent. I have a very talented crew, and I am very grateful to them for using their Friday nights for awesome instead of evil, as we do around here. And so let's talk a little bit about what happened last time on Ghost of Saltmarsh. Normally Coral is here, however she is caught up with a prior work engagement. Things got crazy around her office, so unfortunately she will not be joining us tonight, but she will be back next week. So let's see. Last week, you all went into a very gross and disturbing temple. You found an aboleth, and this aboleth tried to convince you to save its child, which was a adolescent kraken, against two other aboleths, which you discovered there is a bit of turmoil brewing there with the influence of Rinth on aboleth, which are just very strange. But you managed to get through a harried fight and convinced the other two aboleth through some very nice diplomatic work that you have no issue with them taking care of this adolescent crackhead as they see fit, because it had gone insane after being branded and tortured with kind of religious indoctrination and starvation. It had been very, very mistreated. And after very narrowly escaping, you all went up to the I believe it was the Sloppy Sandbar, and watched Fortune and Gellin go a couple rounds in the pit fighting ring. Not against each other, against other people. And they were deemed the champions of the evening with Fantastic Fortune and Mr. Moxie. And then, having collected your reward for the work that you've done, and securing a impartial militia, which will be following behind you in a separate vessel, you guys have set sail for home, unsure of what you will find there. So let's set sail, shall we? And jump right into the story. The night passed uneventfully on your way back to Saltmarsh. It is almost mid-morning when you all awake. The crew was insistent that you all rest and get a good night's sleep. All of you wake bright-eyed and, well, Crackers, if you could be bushy-tailed, you would be, but more bushy-feathered. Except for Gwillin. Gwillin, you are not feeling particularly well this morning. In fact, whatever hit points that you gained yesterday, when you wake up this morning, you're right back where you were when you left the aboleth fight.
Okay.
Something's preventing you from healing. You feel ill. Your skin feels clammy, damp. And as you rise, as you look at your hands, you've gone a very, very pale shade of blue, different than your usual kind of sea blue green that your skin normally is. It's borderline translucent. And you feel dried out, parched. What is it you would like to do?
To think of that one. What should we do with that? Does anything about it seem familiar to her? Something she's come across before or has read about?
Why don't you go ahead and make an intelligence check for me?
That's 18.
Your mind flashes back to your encounter with Mr. Dory and how his skin seemed translucent and rubbery. And then you remember getting hit by the aboleth. There might be a connection there.
Well, that's not good. She probably the first person she finds who knows anything about healing when she gets up. She'd go ask, well, who's she run into first?
Why don't you go ahead and roll a d6, and if it is a even number, you will run into Crackers first, and if it is an odd number, you run into Gellin first. So it looks like you run into
There was
Crackers.
a 4, so crackers. Morning, crackers.
Good
got a bit of a
morning.
situation
Oh,
here.
sweet Quara, what happened to your skin?
Aye, that'll be the situation. This isn't good. Can you fix it?
No. At least I don't think so. What did you do? What happened? What caused this?
Well, the only thing I can think of that it seems like is I know I got hit by the aboleth, and I really don't like to say this, but it looks a bit like that thing with all the rubbery texture, and I don't like where that's going.
No, I shouldn't think so. I'm not so much of a healer, unfortunately. Let's go find Coral.
I get that, but you got better than I've got. Yeah.
As you are leaving to go find Coral, Gwilyn, you feel a really uncomfortable burning sensation across your skin as you take 4 points of acid damage for lack of any sort of moisture on your skin, for lack of a better type of damage.
It's getting worse. We need to find out quick. This is bad.
Yes, I agree. We'll go to her quarters. Is Coral in her quarters?
Coral is in her quarters. Let me get her character sheet up in front of me really quickly so I can see what she can do to help.
Evil aside, I really don't want to look that ugly.
Okay. Alrighty, so you manage to get in and you do find Coral, who is in her quarters, and she looks over and goes, "What in the great hell's happened to you?"
Aye, that's what we're here about. Can you fix it? I don't want to be ugly.
I think I can fix it. Just give me a second. And she settles, she takes your hand in hers and casts Greater Restoration, which alleviates the pain instantly as you are cured of the aboleth's disease.
Thank goodness you know better magic than I do.
You're looking a much better shade of blue.
I didn't like that one at all.
You still look a little bit peakish, but I mean, it's a start, I guess.
Aye, it's something. Thank you for that. She'll probably hug Coral.
You're welcome. Just feel better, okay?
I sincerely hope so.
Just take it easy. I'm gonna take a wee bit of a nap myself. I'm still a little sleepy, so I'll
That's fair.
join you later.
Look forward to it. You get some rest.
Thanks. And so the rest of the day kind of passes uneventfully. If there's anything anybody wants to do in particular, please let me know.
At some point, Willin would seek out Jaffer if she can find a moment to talk to her in relative private.
Assuming you could. Jaffer's pretty easy to find. She's probably the loudest one on the ship. She's not being the captain as you are, the captain of this ship. But you could definitely find her wandering.
Jaffer, can I have a moment?
Of course, anything for you.
Appreciate that. Let's walk over here. I noticed you had it was really rough yesterday, and I noticed you had a lot of trouble with that. I won't ask personal questions about what you were shown, but I can tell that yours was a bit more personal or sentimental than mine was. And
Yeah,
well,
I'm sorry that came through. It kind
Oh.
of shows how vain I am, I guess.
given what I saw, it's not that vain. I don't think that thing could have helped us, but I wanted to check on you and make sure you're right. I know I'm the one that hit it, and I wanted to make sure there's no bad blood.
Of course not. No, I understand what the truth was, and the truth was not there. In my studies, I know what magic can do, and I think probably could not have done what I wanted it to do. It's okay. I really appreciate that, though.
Of course. To be honest, man, don't feel that yours was vain, whatever it was. I pretty much saw my name everywhere on all the continents.
You know,
so
I'm surprised, and I'm surprised that I didn't see the same thing.
that's fair. At least Harold living in Mum's Chateau. She's an amazing woman, though.
You're an amazing woman.
But I try. Appreciate
I don't even
that.
know your mom. I mean, I don't think she's come to me to work on your family's ships. I don't know if you've never. I don't even know anything about you,
Ships.
really. I know you have a big family, multiple
Shapes.
good family to get into. I understand that.
I'd love to show you some of those ships sometime.
Please,
Maybe when
I'd
we're
love
not
to check and
so
make sure that
busy.
they're being taken care of properly.
I'd like that. If ever, well, I've got a ship now. If I can get out a little bit on my own,
You sure do.
you could be my official shipwright, if you'd like that.
Sure.
When
That-
you're not
that
busy
works.
with your ship, you know.
Yes, that's a good way to
Spare
put it.
time.
I'm happy to help. I
Spare
find
time.
joy in getting my hands dirty.
Aye, I wouldn't expect it full time. You've got other things.
You
I
couldn't
know you've
afford
got
me
plans.
anyways.
Sure, I couldn't. I just wanted to make sure you were alright. I could tell you were affected by it.
You know,
Emotionally.
it's not something that I've actively thought about in a long time. So I appreciate the checkup. Obviously, I wasn't good at hiding my emotions.
We all have our moments. Anyway, that sort of never happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About the continents, we're good.
All good.
Just stays between captains.
You got it. Actually, pat her on the hip. That's pretty much how high she can reach.
Alright. Let's hope we survive this mess, eh?
Aye.
She kind of awkwardly, but feeling a bit better, goes off.
Watching this exchange from the crow's nest, unable to hear what they're saying, of course, I turn to Fareed and say, "You may have some competition."
I suppose you're right. But what do I do about it? I don't want to be... maybe I should ask Gellin for advice. I don't know. You haven't stirred me wrong yet, Crackers. What do I do? Do I tell her? Do I give her more shiny things? Do I... I really have no clue.
Perhaps Gellin would be a good person to consult in this matter. He seems to have more experience than I do.
I should probably tell her. I mean, that might be a good first start. Or I could just dance, right? Dancing was a thing. That was a... Maybe that's better?
Well, yes, the dance is most important in wooing a mate. But Gwilyn does seem the forthright sort. Perhaps just coming out and telling her how you feel would go a long way. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? She could say no and laugh in your face.
I mean, that's pretty bad. And then she never speaks to me again, and we never go on any more jobs again, and then I have to move away from my family because they would hate me, and yeah, I mean, I can foresee this going very poorly. But faint heart never won for a maiden, I suppose? That's a terrible saying. That maiden could kick my ass.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I imagine that's part of the appeal for you.
Maybe. Might be a little bit. A strong woman who can take care of herself and hold her own is definitely appealing.
Well, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you.
Either way, I shall be entertained.
Your pep talks never cease to fail. Thank you, Crackers. Is there anything else that anybody would like to do on this day?
I think Fortune's gonna actually talk to Gellid before we go into town. Just
Okay.
probably while everyone else is doing something else.
You will find Gellin in the ship's galley, seated at a table. He's got a roll of parchment, and he is making notes and drawing maps on the parchment.
Do you need any help with this?
Oh, good morning. I always welcome your help and your input. Please have a seat.
And Fortune will sit across from him. So, are you feeling any better today?
Much. Thank you.
It's good. What are you working on?
For lack of a better word, battle plan. I don't know what kind of situation we're going to find when we get back into Saltmarsh, but I figured it's better to be prepared. I have made a couple of spots where we can moor the ships in case we can't get into harbor. There's up here, which is by the lizard folk, though I would prefer to avoid the Sahuagin. There's already been enough delay here. He makes a mark on the map. There's a large cave here, big enough to sail the ships into and still be fairly close to Saltmarsh. I know the inhabitants very well, and they would not be opposed to our mooring here, I suppose. And in the meantime, I'm looking at routes. If the Monarch is sending troops from any particular direction, most likely it'll come in through the Dreadwood, and maybe the Hool Marshes. My concern is, of course, if Scarin has been given any sort of control and the financial situation of the rest of the town. I know that our reinforcements are only a day behind us. It's not going to give us a lot of time to act. And we may need to be sneaky about getting reconnaissance in if things are going south. I'm hoping we find everything intact.
Yes. Uh, if things do go poorly, are we going to be okay? I don't really know what we're returning to.
If things go poorly, then I do as I have always done, and I either make it right with an outward show of force or scheming behind the scenes, which, to be honest, I'm probably better at than the outward show of force. But I'll be okay. There is a good crew on our side, and you're standing next to me, so I'll be all right.
And if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But the battle yesterday, you're doing okay, right? I just concerned.
I'm feeling much better. I don't feel any sort of connection, for lack of a better term. It was like I'd lost touch with my own mind for a moment, and I had no control over my actions. It was a rather disturbing feeling, and I was not a fan.
And what it told you, or I don't know what it said, but you seem bothered.
It it tried to convince me that it could help me I don't know how to say this. It tried to convince me that I could win back an old flame that I lost many, many years ago.
Wow.
And I know that person to no longer exist. So
I don't know what to say to make it better, but I will listen. I don't mind. Do you need to talk?
I appreciate that. Maybe one day. He had been a very good man. He was a good paladin. And unfortunately, he was tempted and swayed by things that I can only can't even imagine coming into contact with, and he stopped being that man very quickly after that day. So he's not the same person as he was. So there's nothing I can do about it, and there were things I tried at the time, and I don't even know if he still lives, so.
Wow. Fortune like pats his hand. So well, if it makes you feel any better, it also was promising people to me, but I realized if it did know anything, then I probably don't want to know the answer to what's happened because there's no good reason for it to know.
There's that.
It's just understand it bothers me. It's just not no. I don't know. He like leans over and like kind of looks down at the maps in front of him, looking at where he's marked.
So, right here is the most likely path. So he starts showing you different delineations. You're, being a sailor, are very, very familiar with maps, and you can see that there's actually a couple places on the map that he's marked as potential safe houses. One of them being the old haunted house that the alchemist used.
So, are we going straight into Salt Marsh, or should we?
I think we should try to sail by it and see if we can get into harbor. My worry is I don't know that I should be seen. Maybe I should stay below decks. Or if one of you are able to scout ahead, that's not a bad idea either.
Crackers could fly ahead. He's good at that.
He is very good at that. You know, your friends are very talented. I owe all of you my life, and none of this would be possible without you. Any of you. Thank you. And he just pats your hands and goes back to the map. I'd say maybe 30, 40 minutes later, Reed comes down and asks if he can speak to Gellin privately for a few minutes, and they go off somewhere to have a conversation, leaving you with the maps.
Just try to go over the notes. Like, yes, these are battle plans. Yeah, I don't know the layout of Saltmarsh as well as he does. I don't know anything. I don't really know much about the military, if it's coming. It's like, yes, I trust these are.
Does anybody have anything else that they would like to do that day?
I wish to find Jaffa.
All right. I would imagine that's easy enough.
Mm-hmm. Jaffer's in her room.
Knock knock, may I come in?
You hear like the sound of like hammer against anvil, and it stops, and she'll over the door, and she opens the door. Hi, Crackers.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm splendid. Splendid, thank you. I trust you're doing well.
Sure am. You see behind her, there's like a magical circle, like drawn onto the floor, and there's like a pile of mithril in the center of it.
Oh, working on something special.
Yeah, I think I'm making some armor.
Marvelous. Well, I was hoping I could borrow your talents to craft something small for...
Happily. What's my going rate? I mean, I don't have my stuff with me. Make an offer. Well, okay. How? What do you want me to make for you? There we go. And I'll
That's
kind of work with you on that.
I require a small figurine in my own likeness.
Done. Do you have any raw materials?
I could give you gold pieces if you have a means of melting them down and reforging.
It's a waste of gold pieces, but I can do it. Sure.
Marvelous.
Okay.
As I said, it needn't be large. If I give you, let's say, 20 gold pieces as raw materials, should that be?
That should be fine. 20 gold pieces. Yeah, sure. Do you want to see me do it?
Oh, certainly. I always enjoy watching the craftsmen at work.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is not what I usually do, but this is something I've figured out in my downtime. She'll bring Crackers in and close the door, and then lift up all the pieces of mithril and move them to like the corner. And then she'll gesture, and you put the gold pieces in the center of it.
I shall scoop out 20 gold pieces with my mage hand and put them there.
And then she begins to spend the next 10 minutes muttering incantations and touching each kind of sigil on the ground. And 10 minutes later, the sigil like lights up, and then it kind of burns a mark on the ground, but this light kind of comes down to the center, and the gold pieces clump together and then form into a intricate figurine of Crackers in gold.
Oh,
As she casts Fabricate.
my, but that is very, very impressive.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what it can do, and what it can do to our enemies, because I'm pretty sure if I tried this, I can like turn a person's ship into matchsticks, potentially. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I
It'd be a
think that's
very
a
large
distance on
circle.
it. Well, I mean, this is just because I wanted to be trying stuff out in my room. I could do this from a distance. It doesn't have to be a circle. But there you go. That's your figurine. She'll go to the center of it and lift it up. There's a nice burn mark in the floor of the sigil, though, or the circle.
Lovely. Thank you so much. What would you like in payment?
You know what? You paid for it. I'm happy to help. I was just.
No. Such craftsmanship requires recompense. Shall we say another 20 gold for your...
20 gold sounds good. Sure. Yeah.
Deal, then.
Fantastic. It was a pleasure doing business with you, Crackers, Lord Admiral.
'Twas a pleasure, Captain Jaffa.
And please come by anytime if you ever want to give me your gold.
I'll remember that.
That's all Jaffa can do for the day, because that was her only spell slot for that one.
All right.
And with my new figurine in hand, I shall retire to my own quarters, and I shall cast Project... Well, are we within 500 miles of Saltmarsh?
Oh, yes, absolutely, you are.
Then I shall cast Project Image, and create an
Alrighty.
image of myself in... let's say in Motley's Tavern.
Hmm. Can you see through it, or do you just...
I
Or-
can, in fact, hear and see through this image, yes.
Excellent. Okay, so you project yourself into Motley's Tavern. It is dark. It is shuttered. You can see a thick layer of dust across the tables, cobwebs up in the corners. And you know Motley to be normally incredibly fastidious. So the fact that there's any sort of disarray is odd. It looks like nobody's been in this room for At least a week.
I shall fly to a window and open it and fly out and take a look at the town from the air and see if anything seems out of sort.
Okay. As you look around, you notice there are very few fishing boats out in the water. Maybe 3 or 4, when normally the water is just completely dotted with boats. The tangled line and the goat look almost empty. There is a steady, loud kind of commotion coming from the south where the mine is. It seems to echo through the town. You see, even though it's midday, there are very few. Actually, it's probably closer to late afternoon, but the sun is still up. You would imagine at this point that people would start be getting in for the catches for the day. The town seems quiet. You watch as a few dwarves make their way in from the mines, soot covering their faces, and handkerchiefs held up to their mouth as they are coughing and wheezing. You see Mariel, Gwilyn's mother, peek out from a corner and usher them towards her, and they look around a little nervous and scared. And then they dart into a building that is also shuttered. There are signs of militia beginning to roam the streets. You recognize the uniforms of the Monarch's men. There are not many here. And you see Scarron with a similar looking garb to the militia walking through the streets, a shiny kind of symbol pinned to his shirt. You see no signs of Edda or Eleander or Manistrad or Anders. But the town seems subdued for a place that's normally raucous and full of life.
I shall fly down to the building I saw the dwarves enter into and see if I can get a vantage point to hear any conversation from.
Okay, make a perception check.
That would be 23.
Okay. There are hushed voices, and while it's difficult to make out, you do hear a little bit. And it sounds like Saoirse, Coral's gran, actually very quietly telling somebody about how they can cure their cough, prescribing some sort of holistic medicine. And you can hear like moans of workers and coughs. Maybe this sounds like this might be a hospital of some sort that's being run surreptitiously. There were no official healers in Saltmarsh before. There was one, like a apothecary. And as you look around, you can see the apothecary shop. It is open for business. But you would think that there would be people lined up if they were this sick or injured. You hear comments about another accident down at the mine. 3 dead. The Monarch's call for more tribute and more goods is making them work through the night. You hear Manistrad has not left her post in 3 days. Hasn't slept. And it's getting to her. Hello, Chiffon. Welcome.
I shall move my image into this building and perch upon a table or other piece of furniture nearby, nearby Gwilyn's mother. And I shall say, hello, greetings.
Crackers?
Not in the flesh, but yes.
Is everything okay? Is Gwilyn all right? Is Vareed all right?
Yes. They're fine. They are well. We're on our way back to Saltmarsh now. I was popping in to see how things are doing. There seems to be a bit of a change since we were last here.
There's been some troubles. Anders caught wind of what Scarin was attempting. And he, along with Eleander and Edda, tried to lead an uprising against the monarch's presence here in the city. It did not go well. No one has heard or seen Anders in 2 weeks. Or Motley, for that matter.
What happened to
Eleander and
Motley?
her pub closed down. She couldn't afford the taxes anymore, and I don't know what happened. No one's seen her. She just vanished. Edda and Eleander are in the jail for crimes against the monarch. And Menestrad has been having to keep people at the mines day in and day out. They found some sort of creamy, marbly type material. I don't know much about it, but I guess the monarch says it's really valuable, and he's ordered the crews to produce as much of it as they can. We're struggling. They've taxed medicines, they've taxed everything. The apothecary is closed down almost because no one can afford medication anymore. Saoirse and I have been running this place on the slide, just trying to keep the town's folks functional.
I saw Scarin with some sort of new badge of office, perhaps? What's that all?
He's been deputized by the monarch as governor of Saltmarsh. By the order of Reike Esso. We've been ordered to report any of you to him on site.
Any particular reason?
Well, in your absence, Scarin decided to say that you were the reason that Gellin disappeared, and you're now wanted for his disappearance. Even though the council was the people that deputized to find him in the first place, the fact that you didn't return quickly enough to him means that you are all guilty of something. Clearly, I find very little merit in that.
Well, I shall have to have a conversation with him when we return.
About how many days are you away?
About how many days are we away?
You are a 2-day sail away at this point.
Another 2 days. I very much doubt that, given the state of things, we'll be sailing into Saltmarsh.
That's a good plan. If you can find a place to make port, that'd be good.
All right. Well.
Be safe.
Oh, rarely. But I will let Gwilyn and Coral know that you are both safe. Is there any other message you wish for me to pass along?
Tell Gwilyn that the rest of the crew has gone into hiding. They've gone to seek allies. We need all the hands we can get.
And I shall release the spell, and my illusory self shall disappear as I return to my own senses. And I shall gather the officers and Gellin and relay all that I have just learned.
All right.
That's horseshit.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
No, I mean like what they're doing. I mean, commerce is one thing, but that's just garbage.
I'll have to agree with that assessment.
And we're criminals now?
And for that as a reason, I mean, honestly, if you're going to pick a reason, there's better ones than that. Not
So
fast.
many.
Ridiculous reason. I refuse to be counted as a criminal for not being fast enough. That's just
Right. Of all things we've done. not being
right.
fast
I
enough is
mean,
our-
come on.
Whatever.
Well, clearly they don't want you having any sort of standing, which means Scarin views you as a threat. Which
Well,
means
we
you
are.
scare him, and that's good.
Good.
That's a very good thing. I'd like to scare him.
Fortune, of the two places we've marked out on the map where we could moor aside from Saltmarsh, what do you think of the caves, or do you think we should go up to the lizard folk? The caves are big enough we could hide the third ship coming in tomorrow, too.
If they're coming from through the forest, yes, might be. Yes, I think the caves will work. I don't. If we, they know that we went to the lizard folk. If they wanted to find us, they might search there.
There's also a chance that they didn't do as well talking to the lizard folk, and they might still listen to us. We did have some allies there. It's potential.
Yes, but us visiting and our ship being there are one of them's more conspicuous than
That's a good point. Crackers, Jeffer, any thoughts?
I want my ship.
That's fair.
That's all. I mean, we're gonna hit it fast and hit it hard. It seems like we have to potentially go in covertly, which is one thing. I think going to the lizard folk, and coming in force might be what we need to do.
If you guys want to go in and try and get people out, I could go to the lizard folk and rally them. Have them meet back up with us, with the entire army when they arrive as well.
Works for me.
I hate to send you by yourself, but
I'm faster by water than the rest of you, and less conspicuous.
that's fair.
She's got a point.
I mean, after you drug all of us out of that mess, I can hardly argue with that part. Which still leaves us with how we're going to approach the rest of us, how we're going to get there.
Leave that to me.
done.
The cave that I'm thinking of has a direct entrance into Saltmarsh that not many people know about. And its resident owes me a couple of favors.
You know, we really should talk more.
Only say the word. Well then. They deputized Scarin as governor of Saltmarsh. That is the biggest pile of horse shit.
Right?
I do worry about where Anders is.
Yes.
Likewise.
Can someone contact him to make sure he's somewhere? He's somewhere. That's a good
Cool.
start.
I believe Coral has the sending spell.
Oh, I could do that if
Hey.
you want.
If there's a chance that he's still alive, finding out what happened could be a good thing before we go in there.
Do you want me to ask now?
That'd be great.
So Coral closes her eyes for a moment and seems to whisper something. And a few minutes later, her eyes open and she looks very worried. He's being held in the Dreadwood.
Well, that's great.
Scarin gave him to Reykjavik.
You know, we've got another friend. I mean, sort of friend. I wouldn't say she owed us a favor, but a very powerful friend ish in that dragon.
Whose
That's
cave
a-
do you think I'm taking you to?
Oh, that's delightful.
I didn't meet the dragon last time.
I certainly
She
hope you and
is
she are
crazy.
close acquaintances.
We are very old friends.
And here I thought your parties in town were a bit dull.
Darling, you never stayed till after hours.
Clearly, I should next time. It gets a lot more interesting.
It always gets interesting after hours. Right.
Is there anyone else we can call?
I'd rather like to know what happened to Mortley, if you don't mind, Coral.
I am concerned about her.
Why? I'll sending right now. And she closes her eyes, and a few minutes later, she opens them. She says she's safe, but she won't say where.
Well, so long as she's okay.
Aye. That's the important bit.
I had a very stupid idea.
Oh, tell us, I love those.
Please.
So, the girl stole the cross quarters, so now there's two crews on the one ship. If they're looking for information for people, they could trade it for help from the sea. I don't know if you want to work with pirates, but that is maybe an option.
I mean, we still kept you around, didn't we?
Okay.
It's not a bad idea, and we still keep Gwilyn around. And Gellin winks at Gwilyn.
Hi. I have never
Oh,
done a
sorry.
single thing wrong in my life.
Privateering.
She swashes buckles. That's all she does.
Hmm.
And I'm very good at it.
Vareed thinks so too.
Excuse you.
I'm just repeating what I've heard. Perhaps you should talk to him. Vareed is not in this meeting. He is busy. He is working. All I'm saying, Gwilyn, is that if your eyes were not so firmly affixed to your ship's wheel, perhaps you would see how the boy looks at you.
I have a very nice ship's wheel, thank you.
You also might notice those new pants he's wearing. Quite hugging in certain areas.
Can we go back to discussing the battle? I like that. That's a lot better.
I don't know. I'm okay with talking about how attractive your friend is. But if you want to discuss the battle instead, it's fine.
Gellin just grins over at Fortune.
That's because you like the pants, I'm sure. They're
Well, they belong
very
to
much your
Fortune.
style.
I think you borrowed them from him.
I suspected that.
So you have been looking.
Noticing a thing and looking at a thing are a bit different.
Noted. So we have a bit of a plan. Fortune, your idea with the cross quarters could be interesting. If the monarch has men coming, we come in with a separate militia. Potentially we bring in the lizard folk from the north, and then have the cross quarters sail up with crews from the south. That means they'll be surrounded on 3 sides. Their only choice would be to fight or to flee back the way they came. Because they're certainly not going to flee into the Dreadwood.
Or hopefully they do. And then, the Dreadwood eats them.
There are things in the Dreadwood that are definitely not good. Like Reike Esso.
Well,
Carl, do you fancy sending one more message? Oh, I could take care of that. And there's a few minute pause as Coral communicates with the cross quarters, and a few minutes later she opens her eyes with a huge grin on her face. They can be here in 4 days' time. They know of the old alchemist's mansion. It's a good place for them to put in, and they can flood in from that cave system there. That way they're just out of sight of Saltmarsh, and they don't know that they're coming.
That sounds good.
it's more helpful than I was expecting. That we did just fix one of the places that they like, though. Apparently.
That's true. Right. Well. Yes, Chiffon. It sounds like we have a bit of a plan.
Yes. I can't wait for it all to go horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
The best plans always do.
Alrighty. So, is there anything else that anyone wants to do over the next couple of days? No? All right. You change your mind, let me know. But I think we're going to go ahead and we'll skip forward to making the stop at do you get the pretty dragon? Yes, you guys make your way into a cave system that is very wide and quite large. It's well hidden, and so it takes a little bit of time for Gellin to help you all steer inside, but there's plenty of room for not only the Lady of the Marsh, but also the Clockwork Dragon to make harbor in here. And it's not long before you see the brass wings coming into view of Torma herself, her very interesting pattern of brass and a little hints of silver coming into view as she strides majestically into the sands of her cave. A very small dragonette near her side, looking recently hatched.
They're beautiful.
You guys go ashore in your boats, and you land safely ashore. Miss Torma comes up to you, smiling benevolently, especially at Gellin as he disembarks.
Gwyn bows slightly. Pleasure to see you again.
It is indeed a pleasure to see you all. Welcome home.
Also, congratulations.
Thank
You look
you.
lovely. Much like their mother.
Thank you. They're a little, still a little young. They'll learn to communicate in time. They haven't quite mastered that just yet.
I'm sure they'll get it. Soon enough.
Welcome back. I've heard the rumors that Saltmarsh has need of you. Badly.
So it would seem.
No words for me today, Master Parrot?
Thank you for allowing a sanctuary here. It is most appreciated.
You are very welcome, Lord Admiral.
It's a lovely place. Very spacious.
It is. If you'll follow me, I can get you situated in some better quarters for now. I have a bit of a room that'll work well for planning. I believe you have more coming, yes? It's not just you. Words of a militia as well behind you.
Correct.
Excellent. Why don't you please follow me? And she turns her entire body around, and she is a huge dragon. She's by far larger than any dragon you have seen in a story. She's probably definitely ancient, or even more so than that. She's quite imposing in size, but she's very careful and very gentle when she walks. She seems to have this air of calm about her. And she begins to wind her way up through the cave. And you reach kind of an internal sanctum, which has barracks prepared. There is food already laid out for everyone. She knew you were coming. You're not entirely sure how, but she knew. Chiffon, the baby has not yet been named in my mind. If chat would like to suggest a name for the baby dragon, I am open. And there are your favorites. Your favorite foods, meads, everything. Crackers, there is a bit of your favorite melons and bananas, as well as some fermented fruit. Ooh, I like Corel. That's very cool. Fortune, your favorite mead is there. Jaffer, your favorite drink and food are there as well. Same. Thalikas. Ooh, Thalikas is cool too. I'm gonna make notes, and Logan, I'm not naming you after a baby dragon after you. Sorry. Alright, I'm making notes. There is music playing softly. It seems familiar almost. You must be tired of fish and hardtack. Please, enjoy.
Most gracious, thank you.
Hi, much obliged.
Very welcome, my friends.
Gwyn sends a very short message to Jaffer. She called us friends. We're friends with the dragon officially. I knew we could do it.
Isn't that exciting? I'm so excited about that. By the way, back in your room, there is a gift. Just so you know.
Very curious. Thank you, friend.
You're welcome. Jeffer enjoys the food and drink, and just takes it all in, trying to stay humble.
Oh my god. I can't share that with our viewers, but that's amazing. I'm sorry, DM just broke. Give me a second.
Same, Sessa.
Sorry, DM EXE has stopped working for a moment. So you spend several hours resting, feeling ground beneath your feet again. It's nice kind of not having the constant pitching of the ship beneath you for those who are not necessarily as familiar with being on ship, although all of you are in some capacity. And then Torma turns to you and says, right. If you have a way of disguising yourselves, I can sneak you up into the city so you can get a closer look if you'd like. If not, I can assist. Crackers, I know that you can blend in pretty much anywhere you are, which is an added benefit for you.
Do you have a helpful spell for that? But I can only do it for myself.
Yes. Not for very long.
Then I can help you out for now. This will last the better part of 2 or 3 hours and can cover all of you. Galen, my friend, you are too conspicuous, even disguised. I would think that you should stay here. He looks grumpy about the idea, but acquiesces, because when a very large Ras dragon tells you to maybe not do something, it's usually wise to listen. Right. So, let's start with Jaffer. Torma comes over to you and asks what kind of disguise you would like. Is there a specific look you would prefer to have? What is it that you would like to disguise yourself as?
I would like to look like a halfling with long red hair, a bit of a purplish feather in my hair, wearing hide armor, your choice, with maybe some like teeth and accoutrement on that.
All right. So your form shimmers slightly, and rather than it being a disguise, you can feel your hair grow and your body change slightly until you are the embodiment of that person. You're still yourself, but you look exactly like how you imagined. Willen, how do you reimagine yourself when she comes over to you?
Trying to think what would about the same build wise, but the points of the ears would go down to more like a cross between human and half elf, very low, probably closer to humanoid, or to human specifically. Dark, fairly dark skin, and curly black hair comes a little past her shoulders. Very, instead of the more flashy kind of outfits with her scarf and everything, she goes for a very neutral look. Just kind of blends in to the shadows, grays mostly.
All right. And Fortune, how is it you alter your appearance?
I think because it's what he's most used to doing with the spell anyways, like this own spell, usually shifts over to looking more like a sea elf, but a similar build, the same like long hair, but his hair is dark. It's like darker than Gwilyn's. It's more of like a like dark green black, and his skin's a little bit darker.
All right, so you all have altered and changed. Coral says that she is going to head off towards the lizard folk and start working on that. And Torma tells you to follow her, and she will get you into the city surreptitiously. You follow her for quite some time as the cavern begins to get narrower and narrower. looks like she's beginning to kind of butt up against the walls. And she shrinks down as much as she can. As you get up a little, as you realize that you're starting to wind in an upward direction, she stops for a moment, looks at you all and smiles, and her form begins to shift. And you watch as this large brass dragon with the silver markings inlaid into her scales becomes smaller and smaller and rounder and rounder until you are met with the sight of a small, spherical Motley. Hello, friends. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you.
I didn't see this coming.
Neither did I.
Wait.
But I love it.
Oh.
That is absolutely perfect.
Oh.
Thank you for helping.
Pleasure as always.
So you're
Right.
actually Motley?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Motley is actually Torma. I guess if that's a better way of putting that, I suppose. Either way, I'm still me.
Understood.
I missed you. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you so much.
We missed you a lot.
I'm glad
Very
you're
worried
okay.
about you.
I couldn't risk saying anything in the setting to Coral. I'm sorry. You never know who could be listening into your surroundings.
Oh.
That's fair.
Right. So, right this way. And she begins to, after giving each of you a very quick hug, she begins to walk up at a little bit brisker of a pace, her wings kind of floating out behind her. And she leads you up some wooden stairs and through a trapdoor and into her tavern. Right. So here we are.
At the best tavern in Saltmarsh.
I agree, if I do say so myself, because we do not serve lobster claw wine. 'Cause-
Aye, that is
Ew.
just disgusting.
It's not that bad.
There's no accounting for taste, Jaffer. I
Okay.
still love you, though.
Love you too.
Right, so, okay. The guards circle about once every 15 minutes the downtown. You should... She looks up at the clock. You should have about 10 minutes to slip out unseen. Most of the people on the streets should be in their houses, and not too many people are friendly to the actual, militia. Well, not militia. I don't know really what the... they're not, the guardsmen, for lack of a better term, if you could call them that. Hired thugs is what I call them. You'll find your mom over, not too far from the apothecary. She's been running a hospital there and smuggling goods in and out that are needed. Make your plans. I'll be in here quietly waiting to lead you back through.
Appreciate that.
Luckily,
Thank
if you're seen, you shouldn't have too much trouble as long as you keep your head down and don't make eye contact.
That'll be tough, but I'll try.
You know what I mean, Jabber. Right. You'll have a couple hours until your disguises wear off. Good luck.
We might need
Thank
it.
and she lets you to your devices. She pops back behind the counter, and you hear her kind of settle. You hear the clanking of her gears as she just kind of folds herself into a seated position and goes quiet.
So where to first?
I mean, it seems like the mines had a commotion. Is that correct?
Yes, there was talk of another accident at the mine. But I think perhaps touching base with your mother first, Gwilyn, to get a better lay of the land would be a good idea.
Could do that. She's always good about that. Keeps on top of things.
Yes.
This way.
I didn't share any of our plans with her when I was here before, so we may wish to let her know what we are planning as well.
That's fair. Alright, try and be inconspicuous, I guess. Let's go.
I shall perch on Fortune's shoulder and turn myself invisible.
It's worth noting that the gift that Jaffer had given Gwilyn.
I was going to ask if they had time to get that.
Yeah, you had time.
It's mithril scale mail.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's amazing. Thank you.
I want to make sure that it was actually useful, and it is. You know, much better than the rest of what you have.
Thank you. Yeah, if she had time to go back, she would have immediately been curious about that, but I didn't want to interrupt anything.
All right. So you guys are heading over to the sick house first? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Correct.
Alrighty. It is easy enough to make your way through town. The streets seem fairly deserted. It is close to evening. After your trip and resting and eating a little bit, you feel really good. In fact, everybody can gain 10 hit points from the Hero's Feast that y'all had. Because I forgot to tell you it was a Hero's Feast. I apologize.
That's okay.
That's kind of scary. Yeah.
That you had a Hero's Feast.
Yeah.
Molly wasn't sure what you were going to be getting into. She just figured she'd cover bases. And considering she said that maybe Gellin should stay back, she wanted to make sure you were prepared for anything that might come up. You make your way over and you watch as you see a hint of blue as you just catch Muriel kind of darting in between some barrels and into this house.
That's Mum.
Seems like the coast is clear. We should hurry.
Alright, let's go.
You make your way over, and how do you get the attention of the folks at the door? Or behind the door, I should say.
Gwilyn will casually lean against the building and cast a message at her mother.
Ah, yes, I forgot you had that. That is quite convenient, isn't it? How convenient!
It
Alright,
is.
so what do you say in your message?
Hello, Mum. Outside the door, if you don't mind, before anybody else shows up. please.
Oh, that's one way to warn a body. Okay, 1 second. And the door opens up a crack. And then
We
she
look a
looks
bit
at you.
different.
How do I know
One
if you-
thing she wouldn't have changed is the symbol on her
Okay.
chest, and she will pull aside her tunic and show
She
off the
nods and
teardrop shape.
lets you all in. All right. Quickly. Hello, everyone. It's glad to see you. You're missing one. Where's Coral?
She's fine. She went to rally the lizard folk. We didn't want to delay coming here, and she's really fast on her own in the water, so she said she could handle that. We've got allies there.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Yes, come in quickly. Oh, it's good to see all of you.
Good to see you too, Mum.
I'm Jeffrey Zanzib. Usually I'm in a gnome visage, but for now, I'm not. But, hi.
Hey, usually pink hair.
Ah, yes.
These are my
Nice
friends.
to meet you.
I'm Fortune.
Nice to meet you, Fortune.
Usually a lot brighter colour.
And I'm invisible, but I'm here too.
I figured
Ah,
you
there's
were
Crackers.
somewhere nearby, Crackers. Right, so what is our plan? Do we have one? Are reinforcements coming?
We've got reinforcements coming. They're a few days out still. Coral went to fetch the lizard folk, and they've got some others there with them. So potentially we've got quite a few who could be able to come from there. We've got the militia from... Okay. Player just got stuck on the name.
The Island of Pleasure.
Island of Pleasure. From the Island of Pleasure, and well, friends in hard times. We've made a bit of a temporary deal with the cross quarters.
Really?
We saw some things and traded information. So they're going to be showing up in the old alchemist place.
Excellent.
I believe 4 days out when we were on our way here. So
2 days at this point.
2 days now. Aye.
And your militia arrives when?
2 days? No.
Were they were less than that, I thought.
They will be there here tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah. They should be here tomorrow then.
That's good. Our intel is saying that the troops from the Monarch will be here within the week, but
Lovely.
it sounds like you will get here first.
Oh, also, we know what happened to Enders.
Really? Is he okay?
Debatable. I mean, he's alive. So there's that. Was able to respond to a send-in from Coral, but
Good.
he's in the Dreadwood.
I'm sorry?
Aye, he's in the Dreadwood. We are. But,
Why is
Here
he
now.
in the
Ambivalent.
Why is he in the Dreadwood? Did he go seeking aid or did he get taken?
sounds like taken as he's being held there.
Do we know by whom?
Esco.
Aye. I'm not gonna like that one.
No. Tell me, how much do you know about Esco?
Not enough.
Not much.
Enough to know it's bad, but not enough to know how to proceed.
Esco. Esco was once a paladin of the realm. He fell in with a bad crowd, and Logan, how dare you? And found allegiance with a new goddess, Rinth.
You know, Rinth's been popping up a lot lately, and I don't like it.
I don't even like
became-
spiders.
He became her death knight.
Well, yay.
Okay.
Rumor is that the monarch is in his pocket.
That sounds like a bad pocket.
How would that even work?
Blackmail mostly. There's rumors that the monarch is a puppet behind the throne, and that Reike Esco is the one who's been pulling the strings. It's not necessarily a rumor that I put truth to, but the idea is that there have been favors promised to the monarch. Power, corruption, they go hand in hand sometimes.
I have noticed that.
The question is whether the monarch is aiding Esco or if they fear Esco. I hope it's fear, because if it's fear and once Esco is eliminated somehow, then maybe things will go back to normal, and I don't know. The miners hit some sort of vein of this marble material in the mines. From what I've been able to tell from keeping my ear to the ground and listening where I'm not supposed to be,
Something
I
you're
mean-
really good at.
I've learned it from the best. Yes, you are absolutely getting the leftovers today because I am tired. Sorry. The idea is that perhaps in paying off Esco with this marble, the monarch can get out from under its thumb. But whatever it is that's being delivered can't be good. I have no idea why he wants it.
Is it there now in the mines?
I believe so. They've been Manistrad has basically been camped out there since the edict came in.
Maybe good to stop by the mines and see if we can figure out what this marble does or what it's.
Seconded, if it's so important. Marble's marble.
Right.
I can get you there. Well, then again, none of you look like yourselves. You might be free to go about. Be careful. There's been a couple of cave-ins. They're digging fast and deep, and with the demands coming in, it doesn't sound like the miners are worried about safety right now. the majority of the people have gone to work there, so a few more people showing up looking for labor is not unheard of.
Probably our best way in right now.
Good luck.
You as well, Mum.
Take
We'll
care
be
of
ready
yourself,
to
Mom.
mobilize on your words.
If you hear from the family, tell them I'm alright. I haven't heard from Delvin in ages,
I'll look
so
at
I
that.
assume he's using his sendings for other things right now.
Yes. Trying to find all the allies we can.
That's fair. You lot be
Right.
careful.
You too.
See you on the other side.
See you on the other side. And you take off. You make your way out into the streets once more. The town is still eerily quiet, but it's easy enough to avoid any unwanted attention. You make the 10-minute walk down to the mines. Now, Mariel had kind of tried to prepare you for everything, but it's definitely a little shocking. There are people lined up to go in that look like they have not rested in days. There are bags. You can see Manistrad wearily checking people in, checking people over, giving them equipment that looks like it's in dire need of repair, but no, there's no one to repair anything. And she sees you come forward. Fresh faces, I see. Excellent, we could use some of those.
I heard there was work to be found here.
Happy to help.
About the only work to be had in Saltmarsh right now. Right. She passes out 3 headlamps and 3 pickaxes. Follow down through. You'll be in vein 23. Just follow the folks in front of you. Break in an hour's time. You're a little late in the day, but that's okay. And she just turns away and just goes on to the next people. Manistrad has always been a force of nature when she's been on the council, and right now she just looks bone exhausted.
I had a backstory and a name and everything, and she just let us in. That's great.
Right? Okay, let's go.
You make your way down to vein whatever number she gave you.
23.
23. I swear I couldn't remember. I was like, did I say 23 or 27? I don't remember. 20 something. And you are faced with a wall of what looks like pure marble. It's cream colored. Looks like there's a few maybe black veins running through it. You can see where they had originally dug and hit silver, but no one is over there now. Everybody's focusing on these walls.
Do I know what the
Says-
substance is?
I was gonna say, does it look like anything you've heard of?
Make me an Arcana check, anybody who would like to.
That is a gigantic 10.
I got a 15 somehow.
Is this magical?
This is magical.
Had advantage. Doesn't really help. 19.
Crackers, did Matthew roll for you, or are you
Just a
taking-
12, so
Oh.
nothing special.
Jaffer, there's something familiar about this. Being an artificer, you've kind of studied different materials, and you've heard of this. You've never seen it in person. But given its texture and the coloration, and the faint zip of magic at your fingertips when you touch it, this is air shale. Raw air shale. And it is a big vein.
Jaffer, like, her hand's like shaking when she touches it. And she's just like holds her hand to it. And she seems like awestruck.
What is it?
This is incredible. How is this beneath salt marsh? This is air shale. It's incredibly rare, legendary even.
And what does one do with it?
I don't know, but it's amazing. But
With
mean, I've
the
read.
19, you know that it can enhance pretty much any sort of magic. While it is inherently magical in itself, it needs to be sculpted or put to work in some fashion to enhance magical spells. There's even rumors of people that had been made out of air shale.
Jaffer shares all of that in a quick, like, excited way.
Well, that explains why they want it so badly.
Yeah, and that explains why I want it so badly.
Portia
That's
just
fair.
gestures to his bag of holding. I still got.
I mean, we are trying to blend in, I suppose.
Right. For those of you who are going to try and mine some, I need, let's do... Okay, it depends. If you're trying to be stealthy and skillful about mining this so you get large chunks that are not necessarily too broken, then you could use a dexterity check. If you're just trying to rely on brute strength, strength check, please.
I'm gonna go with dexterity.
Got an
Straight,
11.
straight dexterity is a 19.
20 even. Total, not natural.
You managed to get several decent chunks of the air shell. But it is difficult, and your pickaxes that you are using do not seem to be well suited to the excavation of this material. It seems that they dull quicker or break outright in some instances. Crackers, I would like you to make me a intelligence or investigation check, whichever you prefer.
Let's see here. That would be an 18.
Cracker, something that Mariel said combined with this is eating at you, is nagging at you. The idea that this material can be used to enhance magic of some sort. And the idea that Esco is a Death Knight to Rinth. And then the name Island of Bones comes to mind. Maybe it could be moved with this, or grown faster, grown larger.
Suffice to say, nothing good.
Yeah, nothing good.
I think we can all agree that it's rather imperative we stop as much of this from getting to Esco as possible.
Seconded.
I.
Yes.
So if you can go invisible and you take the bag of holding, you could just go to everyone else who's picking the stuff and then just take what they have. No?
Well,
I could try,
it's
but I
an
think there's a
idea.
more efficient mean.
If you get a big enough chunk, I could levitate it out.
Again, less concerned with how much we can steal as just stopping it from getting to.
Right.
look, I can look around. Does it look like they're the other miners are making any progress?
They
Because
seem
they're
to be making about as much progress as you do.
But are they watching the air shale that they have mined? Does it look like
It doesn't look like anyone really knows what it is. You suspect probably Manistrad might know what it is. Maybe a couple of the other dwarves, but
they're not right here?
correct. They are not.
I agree with you, Crackers. We should really stop it from getting to whoever needs it. I wasn't listening. But we should definitely have it for ourselves.
I will say this.
Oh. yes.
So long as we stop Esco from getting it, it remains in the ground. And once all this is sorted out, we can discuss who gets it then.
I can try for the bit that's around us right now. Beyond that, we'll see what happens as long as it doesn't get there. But I'm a fair hand at this sort of thing.
The most effective thing we can do right now is just get the mine shut down and get all these workers out.
Okay, get them out. When we'll be on break in like an hour, right? It's probably been like a half hour since we started this, maybe.
It has been about a half an hour. You guys have probably 45 minutes left on your disguises as well.
I can collapse the tunnel, but make sure everyone's out first. Yeah.
Yes, that stops this vein. Unless there's somewhere.
Is only one entrance to the tunnel?
There is
to the
only
mine?
one entrance to the mine.
Boom shakalaka.
Okay.
That's gnomish for boom shakalaka.
Wow.
Let's go back up and talk to the person in charge, whose name I completely remember.
Manistrad!
Manistrad.
I
yes.
remember that one. You remember the other one? I forgot. It's over here.
Right?
Gwilyn would try to see if she could smuggle a small amount out without being noticed.
Make me a sleight of hand check.
Because smuggling things out is something she's good at. $23 total.
You think you are fine. You think you've managed to get that into your pocket without being seen. And you all head up towards Manistrad? Is that what I heard?
Hey,
Alright. So you make your way up and you're in the clear.
I'm going to fly over and perch, and whilst still invisible, say, Magistrate, hello, do you hear me?
I hear you.
You need to get everyone out of the mines. Immediately.
Second. Make me a persuasion check, please. Why am I getting everyone out of the mines?
That's a 22 persuasion. Because there's about to be a, let's call it, synthesized natural disaster.
We're going to talk after this, Crackers. And she pulls on a rope attached to a large whistle and lets out 2 big blasts, and workers begin to file out of the mines. I hope you know what you're doing. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, but everyone seems to be rounding up. She whispers under her breath, "You've got about 5 minutes before the guards come to figure out why I've emptied the mines. Hurry."
I shall fly back over and whisper to Jaffa, mine's empty. Go ahead.
Okay. And Jaffer is going to kind of quickly, well, I mean, I she was kind of wondering about, she's been kind of looking at the best places for a controlled collapse. And utilizing Thunderwave, she's going to collapse the mine.
All right. So, as you do so, there is a huge rumbling. There is screaming and yelling from people who are outside, but they're just alarmed by the noise as the entrance to the mine collapses in on itself. You're not sure how deep you were able to get to, but you've at least slowed any excavation for probably a day or 2 while they can clear a pathway back in. And maybe that's all you'll need. And that's
Good
a
job.
good place, I think, to end it for tonight.
Bought some time.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to watch our show. Hopefully you all have enjoyed it, as the characters have made a sneaky yet triumphant return to Saltmarsh. Again, thank you, everybody. My name is Tessa. You can find me on Twitter at Selkie Dreams. You can also find me here on Tuesday nights playing Bonnie, the half-elf bard, in Shenanigans. And you can find me every other Wednesday on In Vain Valpurgis Not, a Vampire the Masquerade podcast. And let's see here. Jaffer, where can the folks find you one last time?
My name is Zach. I play Jaffer Zanzib, the Rock Gnome Artificer. You can find me on Twitter at DuskFayDruid. You can also find me on the Nerdsmith Discord, where I run one-shots.
Excellent. And Fortune.
I'm Jay. You can find me on Twitter at JAYYTXT. I post art and things.
And Gwilyn.
Autumn Blaze. I'm Gwilyn. I am in the middle of some stuff, but I will have art commissions open again sometime in February. Late February, probably. And working on my book and everything. You can find my information at Vasalanta Blaze on Twitter.
And last but certainly not least, Crackers.
You can, of course, find me here on Friday evenings for this particular stream. My assistant, Matthew, can be found on Twitter at Matthew A. Siebert, or as the Dungeon Master for the Land Above podcast.
Excellent. All right, everybody. We will be over in our Discord for about 20 to 30 minutes or so. If anybody would like to come over and chat with us, we will not necessarily be on voice, but we'll be available in our little chat area. If anybody would like to talk about the game or discuss anything that happens tonight, we try to spend a little bit of time over there to make sure that if anyone has any questions or if anything happened in the session that you just need a little bit of kind of processing time and want to chat with us about, we will be over there. And thank you again, everybody. Thank you to our production team for making things run smoothly behind the surface. Thank you to Angela for our wonderful intro that she created for us and is so wonderful. And just I hope you all have a really great Friday and a great weekend. So as I like to say every week to close out our show, carry on, you funky little tieflings. Good night, everybody.